Welcome back to another SCP reading, dear researcher. Today we'll be reading SCP-179, Sauelsuesor. Now without further ado, item number SCP-179, object class previously safe, now thaumiel. Special containment procedures. SCP-179 remains beyond the reach of current known groups of interest, including the Foundation. All containment efforts are to be focused towards a Grade 3 emission cover-up, coupled with the discouragement or sabotage of exploration and research missions that attempt to study cis-Mercurian space and orbits that go through it. Description: SCP-179 is a humanoid entity located at a constant distance of approximately 40,000 kilometers from the south polar region of the solar photosphere, locked to the rotational axis of Sol. However, it does not orbit it. The most recent recordings of SCP-179 indicate that it seems to maintain a continuous orbit around the center of the galaxy. Through the combined effort of 43 years of continuous surveying, the external appearance of SCP-179 has been identified as a human female of undeterminate ethnic group of between 20 and 40 years of age. Its entire bodily surface is covered in or composed of a matte black material. Its hair appears to be composed of this material, measures over 34 kilometers long, and is constantly pushed away by solar wind. However, this part of SCP-179 appears to reflect variable amounts of light, this reflection being the phenomena that indicated its existence to Foundation astrophysicists during 1940. Several markings or tattoos are placed throughout the bodily midline. Judging from their brightness, these markings might be of metallic composition and of a golden hue. These tattoos include several symbols that have been identified as those typically representing the Sun and the 6 innermost planets of the solar system according to medieval alchemy, including, in this order, the symbol of gold in the subject's forehead, right underneath the hairline. The symbol of Mercury under the nose, circling both lips. The symbol of copper between the medial ends of its clavicles.
Data redacted.
Autosensor level SC4, non-trivial cognitohazard detected. With the anatomically correct shape of a human heart placed over the location where a heart would be in a female human of the same appropriate age and bodily proportions. The symbol of iron in the upper abdominal region. The symbol of tin in the lower abdominal region. Part of a final symbol in the pelvic region. While the anatomy of this region makes its clear observation difficult, it has been hypothesized that the symbol of lead is also present and complete in the perineum region. SCP-179 keeps its ventral side oriented towards Earth most of the time, but it has been observed to look towards other areas on occasion.
Data redacted.
All further data redactions as per Administrative Warning ES-026. Administrative Warning ES-026. As of a redacted date, SCP-179 has been reclassified thaumiel. All involved personnel with a clearance level below 4179 will be either promoted or reassigned to fit this new classification depending on their relevance for the continued surveillance and cover-up operations as directed by the current head researcher for SCP-179. All reassigned personnel will be subjected to Polymath 08, memory redaction therapy, or D-class amnestics in a high dosage grade, with a maximum retrograde effect of 10 years of experience, depending on the time spent working in SCP-179 prior to its reclassification. SCP-179's existence will be subject to a orbital misinformation standardization intelligence obstruction and neutralization campaign, as per Omission Protocol 4, items 4.5, 4.6, and 4.7. Most documentation related to SCP-179 has been reclassified Level 4 Top Secret. Any further data related to SCP-179 has been reclassified Level 5 Thaumiel, and will be made available only to authorized 5/179 personnel. Be advised that Unauthorized access to SCP-179 research materials will be considered a Type 3B offense. Unauthorized data management while lacking appropriate global clearance, punishable by compulsory memory redaction therapy with immediate reassignment and/or demotion. Warning: unauthorized personnel will be exposed to a memetic defense agent. Generating memetic defense. Gestalt abrader active. SCP-179 is sensitive to all radiation in the electromagnetic spectrum, intelligent, and able to communicate through multiple anomalous means, including but not limited to radio and laser communications interference. Only one instance of SCP-179 communication with Foundation personnel has occurred thus far, where SCP-179 proved to be fluent in French. As this contact did not result in a clear statement of SCP-179's intentions towards the Foundation and its mission, all efforts must be made to prevent contact by any known groups of interest with SCP-179. Misinformation operations and other preemptive measures have been deployed. Most recorded movements performed by SCP-179 have been related to extraterrestrial threats, both anomalous or non-anomalous in nature, on a collision or orbital insertion course with the Earth. These threatening items have been identified as capable of housing CK-class pre-configuration events of diverse impact on human societies and Earth life in general, if allowed to reach Earth. If impact with Earth or orbital insertion occurs without proper response and containment by Foundation operatives, these items of interest may be capable of causing XK-class end-of-the-world scenarios. SCP-179 will usually address an item or items of interest by pointing at them with an arm and, when more than one item of interest is present, will be able to generate additional limbs anatomically identical to its arms as needed. Survey data indicates that SCP-179 performs other motions specific to each item of interest addressed, such as raising different fingers or moving its arms in an array of, as of yet, undecipherable patterns at fixed intervals. But whether these motions contain any information or not has not been determined to date. The limits of SCP-179's detection capabilities have not been clearly ascertained. While SCP-179 has been able to detect potentially harmful objects beyond the trans-Neptunian region, those threats had been detected by other surveillance and exploration systems, usually under Foundation control, or, in at least 3 separate instances, were visible to the naked eye from Earth. However, they had not been immediately recognized as threats. It has been hypothesized that SCP-179 may only detect and react to active threats that remain detectable to other observing parties without the cis-Neptunian region, while being able to unerringly determine their harmful nature. All items of interest approaching Earth within cis-Neptunian space that had considerable destructive capacity have been detected by SCP-179 without failure, often when no observers known to the Foundation were aware of them. As such, SCP-179 and all personnel, orbital equipment, and facilities dedicated to its surveillance remain the most reliable early warning system the Foundation possesses to detect and, when possible, prevent potentially dangerous incursions within surveyed space. SCP-179 is able to determine which interplanetary objects pose a threat to Earth, humankind, or the earthly biosphere, which makes it a critical asset for the Composite Orbital Early Warning System, COES, project of the Foundation, which involves SCP,
Data redacted.
SCP,
Data redacted.
SCP,
Data redacted.
and SCP.
Data redacted.
XCPOA-003-2042. Footnote here. Experimental Foundation Orbital Assets, XCPOA. Site 34, Site 103, Site 98, Site 08, Site,
Data redacted.
Site,
Data redacted.
and Command Site,
Data redacted.
as well as several personnel embedded within different space agencies and international consortium related to space exploration. All data of interest related to or obtained through SCP-179 will be marked COES-179 which will be considered high priority information to all Foundation departments. Addendum SCP-179-01 Notable movements of SCP-179 13/12/1940 First recorded movement of SCP-179. The entity that had remained with both arms crossed raised an arm towards a previously undetected interplanetary object on a collision course with Earth. After its impact, in an event that damaged the city of
Data redacted.
extensively with large quantities of an anomalous mucus secretion and left more than 1,300 dead, which, combined with the anomalous phenomena related to
Data redacted.
remaining item reclassified SCP,
Data redacted.
SCP-179 returned to its original position. 2209-1942 Sixth recorded movement of SCP-179. The entity raises an arm towards
Data redacted.
on a collision course with Earth. Item of interest crashes nearby Auckland, New Zealand on 04/10/1942. Item separates upon impact into several devices of mechanical nature.
Data redacted.
Recently formed subentities with minimal civilian casualties. Once Foundation operatives contained the item proper, which is reclassified,
Data redacted.
and terminating most subentities, SCP-179 returns to its original position. Mobile Task Force
Data redacted.
proceeds to track and destroy all remaining sub-entities. A redacted date in the 1900s. 18th recorded movement of SCP-179. The entity raises its right arm towards.
Data redacted.
Up to this date, the entity has kept one of its primary arms shifting from one to the other as necessary, pointing in the same direction. 01/03/1949. 23rd recorded movement of SCP-179. The entity raises an arm towards an Amor-class asteroid that has adopted a collision course with Earth. The Foundation uses a combination of several SCP objects to launch a remote-controlled interplanetary vehicle that acts as a gravitory tow line. This mission is announced as a success on 03/05/1951. At this time, SCP-179 returns to its original position. Note: surveying elements observed that the entity performed a motion that could have been a nod. Reclassification request to Euclid status filed and denied. 13/12/1998 403rd recorded movement of SCP-179. The entity stops watching the Earth for 2 days and 13 hours when it looks towards the Jovian system. Once this is over, SCP-179 looks at Earth again. 09/09/2002 487th recorded movement of SCP-179. SCP-179 points at an armed Type 11 dimensional weapon
Data redacted.
launched from Area 08 to test SCP-179's detection capabilities. Item remains in a primed configuration for a limited number of minutes, ready to be launched at a test location on Earth. It is not identified by SCP-179 until it is 3,670 kilometers above the Earth's surface, when SCP-179 reacts to it as a threat and points at it. Device subsequently reconfigured to a standby configuration and redirected towards its primary target.
Data redacted.
Still in transit from the Kuiper Belt, SCP-179 returns to its previous position. 16/10/2003. Contact with SCP-179 is achieved via the
Data redacted.
2 probe. Subsequent movements registered in Addendum SCP-179-02. SCP-179 reclassified Thormail. See Addendum SCP-179-02. Addendum SCP-179-02 Events of 16/10/2003. SCP-179 was first approached by the second probe, a microsatellite equipped with multiple recording analysis and communication devices incorporated into the first probe in a clandestine operation. The first probe acted as a relay for the second probe and Foundation mission control. Contact and communication with the entity were not foreseen nor programmed. When visual contact with SCP-179 was established, obtaining an unprecedentedly clear, very high-resolution image of its surface, The entity began to move its lips, forming the phonemes of a greeting in spoken French. What follows is a complete translation of the exchange. SCP-179. Hello, I'm the lookout. My name is Sauelsuesor. Do you like my brother? I like him too. He is big, so big, and so very warm. If you want to talk to me, please use your satellite to weave talk to me. It'll be easier than coming here, probably. Entity remains immobile until much later. Researchers assigned to SCP-179 detect this movement. Level 3 researcher Thomas Graham, who is fluent in French, is selected by the head researcher to conduct a possible exchange with SCP-179. The second probe is used as a radio relay from this point onwards. SCP-179 is able to receive, understand, and transmit radio communications. SCP-179's transmissions read as a monotone, featureless human voice that speaks in French. The subsequent exchange occurs with a 16-minute and 39-second delay between each message, corresponding to the distance between SCP-179 and Earth and return. That will be omitted in the rest of the document. Researcher Graham T. Who are you? 179. My name is Sauelsuesor. I am the lookout. I behold, I often see, I often warn. Almost always when I have to. That way there is further life. Graham. What do you mean, the lookout? 179. It's me. She smiles. Graham. We have noticed the significance of your movements. Who do you report to? 179. To those who know where to look. To you. To those who want to look. Not just you, but you too. Graham. When you say brother, are you referring to the sun? 179. He is my brother's soul. He warms me up. He is carrying fire and loving light. He caresses me with his arcs and his voice and renews me. He is the source of all true light. He is your source. Graham. Where do you come from? 179. I was born a child. The entity nods towards Earth. Graham. For how long have you been in your current position? 179. I do not want to tell you. Smiles. 179 adopts a fetal position, remains looking towards the Earth and pointing at.
Data redacted.
Face of the entity remains visible from the second probe. Graham. How did you reach your current position? How did you acquire the properties you currently possess? 179. I was grown into a woman. This is how I live now. Graham. Could you give us further details, please? 179. No. Graham. We would like to know more about you. Why not tell us? 179. I am sorry. I won't be yours. I can't belong to any one person. Graham. The Foundation's work protects all of humanity. All life on Earth. Don't you find this work of the greatest importance? 179. Yes, I am doing it. Look upon me and know. Graham. If we have understood your capabilities correctly, we believe you could do far more than that. Sharing all the information you have, not just about the dangerous threats against humankind and Earth, could be of great benefit to all parts involved. 179. I am too big, and you are too small. There is a sea of nothing and islands of lights. I am their shore. To you come the monsters, the pounding fists of void, the longing gods beyond our knowledge. I am the lookout. I see the ripples in their wake. You want me to pledge my sight? No, to you. Only to you, so you, only you, can be greater. Even if you find, restrain, defend, you want me to be yours. That is not why I am here. There are others I assist, others I warn, others beyond your thin walls of gray, dry paste rock, others beyond the reach of your wary satellites, others beyond the home, our home, others I know, others I love, others you won't care for, others that came before, and overall, others beyond the little walls of rules and bone and laws and flesh and memories and oaths you build around yourselves until you don't even remember them. Others I love, dearly, and yet only my brother is an equal to me. Graham. Excuse me, I don't understand what you mean by others. Could you please explain yourself with other words? 179 smiles. But I have no words left. Closing. Despite several communication attempts, SCP-179 did not perform any other movements nor transmit other messages. Up to this date, SCP-179 has not responded to any message coming from any Foundation contact team or any other efforts from known groups of interest. And that's all we have time for today, dear researchers. Thank you very much for coming, and if you're interested in hearing more about Sauelsuesor, she does make an appearance in the Old Foes Hub arc of the Resurrection series that's on my channel. I do encourage you to check it out, but until then, thank you very much for coming. I hope to see you next time, and thank you again.